Hey guys, my name is Amina and welcome back to my channel. If you saw by the title, I am going to be talking about the pros and cons of St. Louis University and just everything you should know coming into the school. This could be good if you're an incoming freshman or if you're a transfer student, and I feel like this video can also be informative if you are just looking into possibly going to St. Louis University. So I actually put on my Snapchat story and Instagram story asking my friends to send in their pros and cons, so I will be also mixing those in with my pros. And I just wanted to mention, while yes, I will be sharing cons, I will also be finding positives that can come out of that if possible at all. So I'm definitely not pushing down my school. I'm just going to try and find the best alternative solutions. There are some issues that can't be solved necessarily, but we will see what we can do. So the first pro I'm going to talk about is a strong community. A lot of people actually sent this in saying that they met some of their best friends in their first or second year of college and that they did this through both sorority life, not sorority life, just living on campus, being in a learning community. There are multiple ways to genuinely build a strong community if you really want to try. And there are so many groups at SLU where you can join different kind of clubs, organizations to foster a bigger, stronger community that you want to bring out of yourself or just join and learn more about. This is another pro that a lot of people actually sent in, and they said that the campus is beautiful, which definitely is true. But I would say that this is more true in warmer seasons. So I think that summer and spring really bring out the campus because the flowers are blooming, the trees are all full, and you just see everyone outside, which definitely builds a happier scene. Everyone is chilling outside, playing with their dogs. You just see so many more people on campus when the weather is warmer, which makes complete sense. However, when it's winter, I mean, the trees are so dead, there's literally no one outside, no one's sitting out by the clock tower isn't on, it's just a lot more depressing. There's like literally no one outside, but during warmer temperatures it really does bring out the beauty of the campus for sure. So someone else mentioned that a pro is the meal swipe option. So as an incoming freshman, you are going to have the all access meal plan. So with every semester you have $145 in flex as an incoming freshman, and you have an all access meal plan. With this all access meal plan, you can eat at Grand Dining Hall between 7 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. how many times you want and get whatever you want. Grand Dining Hall is buffet style. However, Monday through Thursday between 5 and 10, some places are 5 to 7, I think. Yeah. You can use your meal swipe option at like Subway, Qdoba, Maple, Marinara, and a few other places. However, there are certain items you can get at those places for it to count as a meal swipe. If you go there at that time and you get what qualifies as a meal swipe, you will not be wasting any of your flex. So like I said, you have $145 in flex every semester, and that can go towards places that either take a meal swipe or don't take a meal swipe. It's kind of up to you how you use your flex. So you can go to Starbucks, and if your drink costs $5.66, it's going to take out $5.66 of flex. However, if you want to go to Qdoba during a time when meal swipe option is not available, however much your meal costs, that's what it's going to take out. Or if you go to Qdoba during the meal swipe time but you don't get what is required for it to count as a meal swipe option, it is going to subtract whatever items you got from your flex. There are other options that you can use your flex for. So we have like Simply To Go markets where you can just buy snacks and things like that. You can use your flex there. You can also use your flex at Amaranth Cafe and Jamba Juice. And honestly, like I said, Subway, Qdoba, you can use your flex there if that's what you really want to do. Garbanzo as well. I tried to explain that in the best way, so once again, if you did not get it, just reach out to me. So another pro is that there are living options around campus for upperclassmen. So you will hear a lot about these places just because they are the main party areas, but City Lofts and Coronado are the two most popular off-campus but near campus apartment housing. However, I have looked into the rates and they are fairly expensive. It's not like a unit price, it goes by how many people are there, so it's actually fairly expensive. However, there are also on-campus housing options for upperclassmen, so you can live in the apartments, but of course that's also very expensive. It's honestly just whatever works best for you and what works best for you financially. So another pro I got from multiple people is that everyone is nice on campus. I think I'm going to take this in terms of I have constantly walked through campus and someone smiled at me, or I just like smiled at someone and they returned the smile, and I don't really know the person, but genuinely from an outsider's point of view, they do seem very nice and genuine as people. However, a lot of people also said that some people aren't very nice, and this is technically true anywhere you go. So I'm not going to really talk much about it. However, I did have a rough first year experience with friends and people just because I did get a lot more catty and judgmental people in my life than I did genuine. I'm sure they can say the same thing about me. It's cool. So yeah, in terms of just seeing someone you've never really seen and said hi, or just sitting next to someone in class and just saying hi to them and becoming friends with them, I found it very easy to do. But once again, you're going to find judgmental people anywhere you go, and honestly, first year is just like high school. So if you think you're leaving high school to come to a more mature place and to get away from drama and stuff, that's probably not going to happen. So I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but you definitely are going to run into drama even if you try to keep yourself out of it. And I honestly remember my counselors telling me this, and I really didn't believe them just because I thought everyone kind of changed. But then when you think about it, it's like, how can someone change over a course of 3 months from the summer of going from your senior year to first year of college? It just doesn't make that much sense. People are going to come into college the same way they came out of high school, and just try to go around those bad seeds. That's all I can really say. But once again, it is kind of hard to just kind of see that right off the bat. So if you do run into some rough friendships, just try and pull yourself out of it. Don't feel bad if you feel like a relationship and a friendship for you is not healthy. You are going to find certain relationships like that throughout college, wherever you go. So that's all. But I think that most people were talking in like terms of like sororities and just like being able to see people on campus randomly who you don't even know. Everyone just has that vibe of being sweet and genuine and nice. And like I said, I have just reached out randomly to people in class and tried to like talk to them, get their number for assignment purposes, and just to keep in touch about the class and things like that, and they were very willing. So another pro is that everything on campus is walking distance just because the campus is on the smaller side. So I have been able to roll out of bed and go all the way from the third floor of my residence hall to the business school in like 5 minutes without running. So honestly, you're gonna probably end up running late here and there, but it's fairly easy to get from one place to another. I have gone literally from one end of campus all the way to Chaffetz Arena and made it in like 8 minutes of fast speed walking. While some see it as a negative that it is a small campus, it's probably going to be a positive considering that you're going to have to adjust to having to be on time to all your classes and things like that. So sometimes it'll come in handy that it is a pretty small. So I'm going to mesh the next two pros together because they're pretty similar, but there are always fun events going on campus for different seasons, holidays, organizations, events, etc. So there's always something to get involved in and something to do for fun on the side. But also it is an eventful city. There are things going on for various holidays. St. Patrick's Day and Mardi Gras are two of our biggest holidays. People are always up early and celebrating. So in terms of our city and campus, there are always events going on. You just kind of have to look out for them sometimes. That's it though. Another pro is that teachers are genuine and sincere. They actually do try and help you out and be there for you. There are some rough teachers, but I feel like most kids judge a teacher by how much homework they give, how fair they are, and I agree that sometimes these are tough lines and you genuinely sometimes don't like a teacher, but I don't think I've had a teacher yet that I don't like. Some of them are more boring and it just doesn't seem like they enjoy what they're doing that much, but then again, it kind of comes off maybe because it's like the subject, you know? For example, like history to me is super boring and like I just don't like it. I don't like listening to it. I don't like doing work for it. So when I'm sitting in history class, I just zone out, and maybe I mix my feelings for history with how the teacher is actually teaching. So I wouldn't really judge a book by its cover. So if you look on Rate My Professor and you see a really low score for a teacher, really think about if maybe your perception of that teacher might be different than the comments written. Sometimes I did take a risk, and honestly I had totally different opinions on a teacher than what the Rate My Professor app had. So sometimes just take a risk, and I would recommend doing that in your stronger subjects. So if you do get a really bad teacher, you can just support yourself. There are going to be times when you have to teach yourself something, and of course it sucks because you're literally paying for education and you're paying to be taught, but then you have to teach yourself. But it's always going to be a mix of that wherever you go, so just make the best of it. So this next pro is definitely one of my favorites as well. There are various places to study on campus and different places to explore all the time to find new study spots. So I like to study outside when the temperature is nice, and you will see that a lot of people like this too. The clock tower is one of the best places to study. However, if you do need to plug in a laptop, that's impossible there. There are no outlets. Other outdoor study spots that are definitely popular is behind the Samuel Couples House, which is by the business school, and outside Global Citizenship. There are tables there set up, so it's perfect. You can also study outside of the BSC. There's like a little patio top, and people also study outside of the BSC down on the lower area. But there are also other places to study that are inside. A lot of people study in the Global Citizenship, and that one is a very closed and quiet area, so if you are planning on being loud, I would not recommend going there. The library is obviously a very big one for study spots. There are 5 floors in the library, and the higher you go up, the quieter it gets. Just find different spots to study, and maybe you'll find that your productiveness increases in a certain area than it does somewhere else. So I kind of tied this in earlier with the beautiful campus aspect, but there are hammocks outside where you can use as a student, and there are multiple. You just have to kind of find one that's open, which can be a little rough when the weather gets warmer outside. So I'm going back to the food aspect. As a pro, there are 2 places that people rave about all the time, and that is Amarin Cafe and Fresh Gatherings. So I actually have never been to Fresh Gatherings just because it is on South Campus and I don't have any classes over there, but a lot of people tell me that it's very good. But Amarin Cafe I do know a lot about just because it is in the business school and I'm a business student, and it is amazing. However, the lines get really long around lunchtime, so if you can get in prior to 11:50, that's your best bet to get to the front of the line. And it is basically like Subway, just better, I promise. It's so much better, and honestly the sandwiches are like pretty big. You get really full off of them, and I usually never pay more than like $7 at Amarin, and that goes into your flex, which I explained earlier. So the last pro I got from someone is our mascot, which I can definitely see this as a pro because it is a unique mascot and it actually does represent something powerful, in my opinion, which is like hope and luck, and I think that does send a really good message. A lot of people don't know what it actually stands for, but it is an interesting mascot. And yeah, now I'm going to go on to the con. So this is a big con, and that is safety. So in the first year at SLU, I have experienced so much. I actually resided in Grand, so I was able to overlook the streets, and there were accidents there all the time, and not accidental ones either. I mean, hit and runs and just like stealing cars, breaking into cars. That is all honestly normal, and that's the worst part about it, that once you live in St. Louis, you realize that those things are happening so often that all you can do is just take care of yourself the best way. Always travel with a buddy, and I say that in all honesty, like even if you're going a short distance, like don't walk on campus alone. It is not a closed campus. Anyone can walk onto it, even if they don't go to school here. Like, it can be pretty dangerous, so just make sure you're always walking with someone. There are other options like DPS and things like that. If you need to get from one place to another, you can have someone drive you there, but it has to be on campus. So I mean, there are limitations, but try to make it as safe as possible. However, we just can't escape St. Louis, which is literally the most dangerous city in the entire world. So just come prepared. A lot of us do have pepper spray. You're not overthinking it if you do as well. So just be prepared and hope for the best, really. Another con is that there is not a very big party life at SLU. So you can definitely find party because there are no frat houses and no sorority houses. there aren't like built-in party places at SLU. So that is actually one of the other cons. There are no frat houses and sorority houses, and another con to go all together into that is that there is no football at our school. So there is no tailgating, there is no partying around that sport. So those things mixed in, it just doesn't settle for a very big party scene, which some people might find this very good. I don't know. You have to find your own fun at this school for sure. Sometimes, some nights everything gets busted and you just end up going home after walking in circles all night. You never really know what's gonna happen. Another big con is that everything is expensive. So if you think tuition is expensive, room and board are also really expensive. Parking on campus is super expensive. I mean, you get no break anywhere, and that's the part that sucks. Most schools, you know, have tuition that's really expensive, but then the room and board is a little more subtle, or parking is really subtle. No, everything at our school is really expensive. So just really think about what you need and what you don't. Think about if you can commute or not. Think about if you really need a car on campus or not, because in all honesty, you really don't. I am actually from St. Louis and I didn't bring a car on campus and I got around just fine. You can use the metro, they give you a metro pass, but make sure you go all the time with a buddy. I would never go alone. And there are shuttles that take you to Target or Chinooks. I don't know, honestly, I never really went, but I would have survived without having a car on campus just because I am from the city, but if you're not, then I would consider if you really do need a car or not. Some people really do need it because some sports train off campus, so it all depends on things like that. If you have a job, what kind of sports you play, etc. So just look into it and choose what is the best option for you and how you can just bring the cost down as much as possible, because SLU is so expensive. So a lot of people say this is a big con and everyone talks about it, but our dining hall is not the best. And the worst part about it is that they have the best food when it's tour day. So when they are bringing prospective students to the school to see it, to tour it, that's when the dining hall will have the best food. Other than that, you can find salad and cereal there all the time. That's what I always ate and I never complained about it. One of my friends actually said that they have good chicken patties, but they only have chicken patties. So if you come in between breakfast and lunch or lunch and dinner, you are literally going to be stuck with like fries and chicken patties, and sometimes you'll walk in and there will be literally nothing to eat. So just choose the time wisely, that's it, and definitely eat when there's tour days because the food's a lot better. Now I'm going to talk about things that people said that I think you can have a positive and a negative to it. So someone said that it is a small campus, which is true. We only have about 12,000, 13,000 people, and this can be positive and negative. If you like a big like state school experience, definitely not the school for you. However, if you like being able to go from point A to point B and see someone you know and like say hi, then this is definitely the school for you. No matter how short my trip is, I usually always see someone that I know. And if not, you are probably going to see the same faces multiple times, so if you do feel like you need to introduce yourself to someone, it won't seem that out of line because you're constantly running into them, that it's not that big of a deal. So someone else mentioned that a con is the fact that it is a Catholic school, but then again, it is kind of literally a Jesuit Catholic school, so like you can't really say that's a con. So I put it in the both area because if you're not Catholic, you might seem out of place once in a while, especially because they do make you take theology and things like that. But at the end of the day, like, they don't force it on you. I can definitely say that from someone who isn't Catholic. They don't force the religion on you. But if you are Catholic, they definitely give opportunities for you to feel involved and to feel that religion base come out of the school. And even if you're not religious, they give you opportunities just to come see what it's like. You don't have to like convert or anything, just to see what the experience is like and get that aspect of being Catholic without actually being Catholic. So they don't just close it off to people who are Catholic, they open it up to anyone. And I do think that's actually really great that they are allowing anyone of any faith and belief to see what it actually is about. If you're not focusing your religion around Catholicism, people. If you're not Catholic, then you might just feel a little bit out of place, but I didn't really see it to be that big of an issue in my opinion. So that are all, my god, those are, yes, nice, Amina. So those are all of my pros and cons, as well as some of my friends from Instagram and Snapchat. Thank you guys so much once again for turning those in. If you are looking into St. Louis University, I really do hope you choose the school. It is fantastic. If you are an incoming freshman, I hope you guys have the best freshman year experience. If you ever need anything, feel free to reach out to me. My socials are in the description below. If you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Give this video a big thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.